Could you explain what gluten is and why you choose to focus on gluten-free recipes on Kumquat blog?
Gluten is a really small protein that is found in wheat and rye and barley and some other grains too, but it causes a lot of big problems for some people who have celiac disease, some autoimmune diseases, and gluten sensitivity. About 13 years ago, I realized that it was wreaking a lot of havoc on my health, and so I decided that I needed to commit to a gluten-free lifestyle in order to live a thriving life.
Okay, and do you know, we've seen so much information about gluten-free living in the media, and we see it more frequently on menus. Do you know sort of what the rise in our awareness of gluten and some of its effects on certain people is related to?
I think we're really at the cusp of understanding a lot of that. I can tell you that 1 in 100 people have celiac disease, and those numbers are rising with our understanding of gluten sensitivity. We've come a really long way in the products that are out on the market right now in the 13 years that I have been gluten-free, and I appreciate that the awareness has increased the quality of products that I can consume too.
Yeah, it makes your life a little bit easier to live, I can imagine.
Much more delicious.
Yeah. Sure. So seafood, of course, is gluten-free in its natural form. Tell me a little bit about how seafood fits into a gluten-free lifestyle.
So seafood is not only naturally gluten-free, but it's also really one of the simplest proteins to incorporate into a variety of cultural dishes and different flavors.
Is there anything that seafood lovers who avoid gluten should be aware of?
Seafood, as we said, is naturally gluten-free, but there are some preparations for seafood that do contain gluten. So if there's something that's battered and fried, it contains gluten. If there's breadcrumbs, like in a crab cake, it will have gluten as well. Also, sushi, if it has something with soy sauce contains wheat, and so therefore contains gluten. But there is a gluten-free option called tamari that can always be requested or used.
Okay, and what about gluten-free breading or batter? Is that available too?
There are alternatives to eat gluten-free even in some of these preparations that are typically containing gluten. You can make your own with gluten-free flours. There are some fish sticks that can also be gluten-free, and you can also buy some breadcrumbs that are gluten-free if you want to make your own crab cakes.
So just to summarize, seafood is gluten-free. It's really just some of the toppings and the sauces that you need to watch out for, and people who are following a gluten-free diet can even find alternatives for those.
Absolutely. It is gluten-free, it is easy to prepare, and it blends into so many different cultural dishes.